Hello friends and welcome to another video lesson from DBOS Talks. If you haven't subscribed yet, please click subscribe and click the bell so that you can be notified of new uploads. This video is in the playlist called Handling Strings in SQL. And here we'll be learning how to use the string functions LTRIM, RTRIM, and TRIM in SQL. So these are string functions. If you don't have any idea what a string is, I suggest you go to the very beginning of this playlist, or if you have programming background, and for sure you will know what a string is. Okay, so LTRIM means left trim, RTRIM is right trim. Okay, so let's just go to a bit of definition of this function. So what it does, an LTRIM function removes spaces or other specific characters in a set from the left end of a string. Okay, so that's what it does. And the syntax of the LTRIM function is like this. Of course, you will use it within a select statement. Basically, that's the main usage of that. Although you could also use it in a where condition, but that's another conversation. For simplicity, you can use it first in a select statement until you get familiar and more comfortable with it. So the syntax is like this: LTRIM, and it only accepts one parameter. It can accept two parameters, but it's the main one you should first get to know and get familiar with. Okay, so LTRIM and then the string inside the parenthesis. So that means we want to do an LTRIM or left trim on this string right here, right? Okay, so then let's use it in a simple select statement. So select LTRIM, hello, and then from dual. So you can see the string is here. Everything within or inside the single quotes is the string. So you can notice that the word hello begins with a space and ends with a space. So when LTRIM will be used on this string, when it's used on this string, then what it does, it will trim or remove this heading, leading space. Okay, so let's do this. So what we can see now is after the application of the uses of the LTRIM function on this string, the space, the leading space, the one right beside or before letter H, has been removed. Okay, so that's your LTRIM. There's another variation of using the LTRIM, and that is if you wanna trim not space but a specific set of characters. Okay, so you would in that case be using two parameters: the string that you want to manipulate, as well as the trim set or the set of characters that you want to be taken out on the left end of a string. Okay, so let's look at an example that will make sense for this use case. All right. Okay, so remember that for this example, the LTRIM function will be accepting two parameters: the string itself, that's the first one, and the trim set. So what I mean here is that in this string, yellow, I want the LTRIM to do a trimming of the string yell, which is on the left, from the left end of the string. Okay, so the expectation is that after cutting out the yell from the left end of the string, what will be left is the OW, isn't it? Okay, let's take a look. And that's exactly what we have. So that's the LTRIM. Now let's go to the next function, which is related to the LTRIM. This is called the RTRIM. So right trim. RTRIM means right trim. So similar to the LTRIM, except that it is doing its thing on the right side, from the right end of a string. Okay, it removes spaces or specific characters from the right end of a string. That's the RTRIM. Now let's look at a similar looking example. So select RTRIM hello from dual. So right, just as in the first example, you'll see that the string is the value within the pair of single quotes. So it's from here up to here. All right. is also the string hello, but not but it also, and it also has spaces in front and as well as at the rear end. All right. So when we do an RTRIM, what it will attempt to do is to remove the space or spaces at the or from the right hand side, from the right end of a string, of this string. So what should remain, or what the output expected from this is this, the hello with a leading space, with a space at the beginning. Okay, let's see. And that is what happens. It's not so obvious, but if I copy paste this string and put it here, you can see that there's a space in front. And that is because that's the effect of the action of doing the RTRIM or the right trim. All right. So the last of the three of the trio is the trim function, which does the combination of the LTRIM and the right trim. Okay, I'll just simplify the definition. The trim is doing a combination of the LTRIM and the RTRIM, trimming on the left end and trimming any spaces or specific characters on the right end as well at the same time. All right, so let's use the same example, except that we are using the trim function instead of LTRIM or RTRIM. So select trim and then the same string in here from dual table. Okay, so the expectation is that after the application of the trim function, the space at the beginning and the space at the end will be removed, shall have been removed. Okay, and that's what happens. If you want to check, you can copy this and paste in here, and you see that there is no leading or trailing spaces to it. That's after applying the trim function, which is effectively combination of the LTRIM function and the RTRIM function. All right. So in this short video, we learned about three very related string functions, LTRIM, RTRIM, and trim, which are used to snip out or remove leading or trailing spaces, or also it can be used to trim or remove a set of characters that you specify. Thank you for watching and listening. If you haven't subscribed yet, please click subscribe, and I'll be seeing you in the next video.